Assalamu alaikum. In the name of Allah who came in the person of Master Prophet Muhammad, in the name of the most honorable Elijah Muhammad, in the name of the minister that was Farrakhan. How we got things going on. I'm a take the country around nothing in now. Out of mercy. How come on? Pick up yourself, young and love over you from now. Get lost from me. Oh yeah, well, live on there in a faith. Now the mercy. So let me respect the black woman because they're the only way out of reproduction. Respect the black woman because they're the only way out of reproduction. Respect your black woman. Respect. That is the beauty of a man, that is respect. The actual foundation, because the beauty of a woman is procreation. You better not to protect your black children. If you dis the black woman, you're discrimination. If you don't protect the woman, you're not a real man. Because the education and protect the woman, that's the natural instinct for intelligent man. So they can respect, protect the black woman, because they're the only means of reproduction. Respect, protect the black woman, because they're the only means of reproduction. The same way. And then disrespect the black woman and me can't take it. Me tell me babe. And then disrespect the black woman and me can't take it. Me say respect, protect the black woman, that is my motto. If a man disrespect him, I go get beat down. If a man thinks a woman takes him 60 and the come, but if a woman wants to take this far up from the ground, because I am a Muslim, I'm a peaceful man. But don't disrespect me with black woman. We will take away your life if you do them wrong, because every black woman is a price to get shot. You gotta respect, protect the black woman, because they're the only means of reproduction. Respect, protect the black woman, because they're the only means of reproduction. Respect, protect the black woman like Haile Selassie, the Rasta man. Respect, protect the black woman like the Honorable Minister Louis Farrakhan. Respect, protect the black woman like Nelson Mandela, the African man. Respect, protect the black woman like Martin Luther King, the Christian man. Respect, protect the black woman, because they're the only means of reproduction. Respect, protect the black woman, because they're the only means of reproduction. Respect, be your black woman. Protect. That is the duty of a man, not disrespect the actual foundation, because the beauty of a woman is procreation. You better not to preserve your black children. If it is the black woman, you're discrimination. If you don't protect the woman, you're not a real man, because to educate, respect, and protect the woman. That's the natural.
Oh yes, oh yes, oh yes, family, family. It's your brother King Simon in the building. That's right, I am here. Yes, family, that's right. How you doing? How you doing? How you doing out there on Facebook and on YouTube? YouTube. Oh man, we got a special show for you. We got a special show for you. So we're gonna have a good time today. We got our special guest is Keziah Glow from out of Black Media from Harlem Community Radio. Of course, they call that place WHCR. It's called the Voice of Harlem. So we have one of the guest hosts from out of WHCR that actually hosts her own show, and the show is called Lighthouse Conversation, and she also hosts the Harlem 411. So we're going to have her on. We're going to be speaking about, of course, prison reform, because everybody's gone through certain relatives that gone through prison and not getting the respect that they're due in these prisons. Even if they didn't commit the crime, or if they did commit the crime, there's still a certain amount of respect humans are supposed to get. And also, we're going to be speaking about real estate, because she also deals with real estate. She's also a property owner. She deals with the Morris Santa. I think it's I forgot the name of the place in the Bronx, but she deals with the real estate company out there. And we're going to talk about Black radio and where it has gone over the years that she's been in it, and also over the years that I've been in it, and the many people that I've known throughout Black radio. I think we have lost a footing in New York City as far as radio is concerned, because none of the stations are really owned by black people anymore, or a black crew of people like it used to be, like the WWRL, the WLIB, WBLS. Finding out that they're not owned by black black owned anymore, and of course the people that you see that are fronting as front men and women as black radio stations, which is actually not. It is just black face, and behind the scenes is a bunch of white folks. But it is what it is. You know, sometimes and one time we used to own radio stations for ourselves. So we're happy to have her coming up in the next 5 minutes. Just want to remind everybody all the great sponsors that I have on here. Of course, make sure you check out Pedal Rise. Those that are women, this is for you that are that need a natural gynecologist. If you're tired of chemicals and all kinds of stuff that they're issuing, and medicines that certain medicines that they're issuing to you as a woman, guess what? You can contact the sister, do a consultation with her, and she'll give you the balance. She'll give you either the medical way or the holistic way, but she definitely encourage you to go the holistic way. So if you want to get a discount on any of the services and the products, use the coupon code King 2020. That's King 2020 at www.pedalwise.com. That's pedalwise.com. And order. She got some great stuff for men and women, and but she specifically deals with the women because she's a natural gynecologist and an acupuncturist. So make sure you show them some respect and give them some love. Also, just want to remind everybody, of course, the world premiere of Happy is coming up. The world premiere of Happy is coming up. That's right. On July the 18th, Saturday, July the 18th, 7 p.m. is the world premiere of Happy. Make sure you go to the website hoppy.com. That's www.hoppy.com. And make sure you get your tickets, your front row tickets on any and all devices. And remember, the DVD and the digital download is available after the premiere. Also, of course, we got Baba Phil Valentine coming in soon. Got Baba Phil Valentine coming in on Wednesday. But this is an event that he's doing. It's called the Paradigm Shift 2030. Rise of the metaphysical messiahs, and the death throes of the satanic states. Yes, Baba Phil Valentine will be in the building live and direct. And of course, you see all those great pictures on there. Yeah, those are the metaphysical messiahs that are doing their work. All these people are doing their work. Look at the sisters. The sisters and brothers are putting in the work. So you know what it is. Also, just want to remind everybody, if you want to find out more about real estate and all the good stuff you need to do to get your real estate going, give a call to this beautiful lady. And her name is Janelle Lewis. And her number is 347 866 1153. That's 347 866 1153. So we're more than honored to have her on as one of our sponsors also. And just want to remind everybody, if you want to get do a numerovation session with me, please text me your full name, date of birth at 347-496-1022, 347-496-1022. Applied mathematics can help you if you learn how to apply them. Also, my books are available on Amazon and Kindle. No promotion is bad promotion, and all publicity is good publicity. Also, numbers are simple, people are complicated, and numbers are simple. Children's health is important. So make sure you go to Amazon and Kindle. And remember, every time you support me, you support Dr. Laila Africa and his legacy, because he is the publishers of those 3 books. So those 3 books are so important for the continuation of his legacy. But go to his website, LailaAfrica.com. That's LailaAfrica.com to take his courses and his classes. Of course, there is a content discriminator. That's right, disclaimer. There's a content disclaimer. The views, comments, and opinions expressed by guest speakers or authors on this YouTube channel do not necessarily reflect or represent the views and opinions held by this channel's broadcaster and its sponsors. Parental guidance is advised. Oh man, so yeah, we got to run through that sometimes and let people know that we not going through all the stuff that's going on throughout these medium and these platforms. Also, let's start off with the prayer of our Delta prayer. Let's give that a hook up. Like, so all of us in prayer, let's go into prayer right now before we start our program. Please, Universal Creator, know in my heart that I love you. Please protect me and this planet on which I live now. Please open my mind and my spirit and my soul to receive only truth and your love now. That was a prayer that Dr. Delbert Blair shared with us. And, I always like to share that. Now that I've started to share it, I'm going to share it for the rest of the month because it's all about showing that love. Now, I see my girl backstage. So before we bring her on with a well-deserved round of applause, I want to make sure I read this short bio about her from from the website of WHCR.org. And once again, people, please, 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 this is King Simon Presents. Please subscribe. Please subscribe and click on that bell to be notified. And one more thing before we bring on our sister. Coming up next, of course, Keziah is coming up next right here on this show. But of course, this coming Wednesday, we have Dr. Valentine. This coming Friday, we have Professor James Small. This coming Sunday, we have Professor and martial artist Zahalia Anderson, women in martial arts. And this coming Wednesday after that, on Wednesday, the next Wednesday is going to be Dr. Sister Malika Ali. I'm putting doctor on her already because I know she's supposed to be doing her doctor work. You know what I'm saying? So enough respect to her. And she's going to be coming up on how to build your immune system because she's a natural health practitioner that studied under Dr. Africa, Dr. Sabi. And she's coming from the teachings of the most honorable Elijah Muhammad, how to eat and live. She is an MGT and GCC, so she'll be here next Wednesday with us, dropping that wisdom about how to build your immune system. And one more thing, family, to pre-order my new book, Numerovation for Mental Stability. Pre-order the new book, please. The price is only $40. That's right, $40.40, and everything is included. I'll tell you, everything is included. And of course, you can also pay via PayPal.me/the Numerovator. Please, please, if you do go to your PayPal, please include your full name and mailing address in the PayPal note section, and I will make sure it's mailed to you. Be patient because it will be coming out in August, end of August, going into September, October. So I will be mailing it out that time and making sure everything is well. I think there's one more thing I do have to share before I bring on our beautiful participant here on our show. Now, this is very interesting because I need my audience to pick out, to choose the cover of my new book called Numerovation for Mental Stability. Please email your choice. It's either going to be one, and here's one. This is one. This is the first cover choice. This is the first picture that's going to be on the cover. That's one. And then this is two. Let me remove that so y'all can see it clear. Y'all gotta be able to email me. Let me remove that and I'll put it back up after that. This is the first one. And then this is the second cover choice that I'm going to be using. Or it's going to be this third one right here. Boom! It's going to be the third one right here. So make your choice. This is 1, 2, and 3. You make a choice and email me, family, at the email below, Numerovation with King Simon at gmail.com. You choose whether you choose 1, 2, or third one that's up there right now. Please email me your choice because I'm going to make sure my crowd and my audience choose which book cover I am going to choose for my new book called Numerovation for Mental Stability. Woo! So it's gonna be hot. That's the third one. So don't. I'm gonna go back. I'm gonna go back now. That's the third one. That's the second one, and that's the first one. So y'all make a choice. That's the first one. That's the first one. That's the second one, and that's the third one. Please email me at Numerovation with King Simon at gmail.com and let me know your choice, please. All right, because we're gonna turn it up when that book come up. It's gonna turn out, and we're gonna be about it. So before I bring on my handsome face, I gotta make sure I shout out this beautiful, beautiful, vicarious and beautiful woman. She's such a wonderful radio personality. First, Keziah Glow. Since June of 2020, Keziah Glow has served as WHCR's news director. She has worked on WHCR 90.3 FM for over 10 years and as host and producer of the community affairs show called Harlem 411 and a recently added holistic health show called Lighthouse Conversations. And she be rocking, family. When I tell you she be rocking, you got to check her out on www.whcr.org. So without any further ado, we're going to bring on our beautiful sister with a well-deserved round of applause. This audience, I always say them well. That's why they still keep on showing up. So enough respect to our beautiful sister, Keziah Glow. What's up, sister?
Peace, peace. That's how you do it. That's how you do it. That's how you bring somebody on. Yes. Yes.
You, you know how I do. You know how I do.
Listen, I
This is
know
what
how
I
you
do.
do. I know how you do. Thank you so much.
I got
Thank
to turn
you.
my hat to the back. You know what I'm saying? I turn, and I'm drinking. I'm drinking my juice. So
Listen.
mm,
You go right ahead. You go
yeah,
right ahead.
I'm chilling. How you been, sis?
I'm okay. I'm okay. Thank you so much for having me on the show. Peace and blessings to everybody who is watching. Thank you
Uh,
for being with us tonight. Yes.
yes, I'm so happy. First and foremost, let me let people know to contact Keziah Glow. Email her at keziahglow@gmail.com. Her essential oil products is www.myyl.com/Keziah Glow. That means you got essential oil for that body so y'all can get that nervousness down and smell good now. Y'all playing
Yes.
good.
Yes.
Also,
Yes.
cash app her at $ Keziah Glow. PayPal her at paypal.me/Keziah Glow. And Morrisania, that's right, Morrisania Real Estate. Yeah,
Yes.
I know Morrisania.
Yes.
I know the
Yes.
hospital. I remember the hospital in the Bronx. I used to live in the
Right.
Bronx. And
Right.
please listen to her on, of course, at WHCR.org/news
Mm-hmm.
and then you'll find directly where she's at. What's up, girl? How you been, my beautiful sister? What's
Listen,
happening with
listen,
you? How's the
listen.
family? Family all right?
I'm great. I'm great. Thank you so much. Like I said, everybody is making it through this time. Everybody's evolving, growing, getting better and stronger. That's
Mm,
what we're doing right now.
I'll drink to that.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Have a drink for me.
I'll take one for you too. Stop playing.
I know that's right. I know
Yeah,
that's right.
don't worry, nothing crazy in the glass. It looked like Alizé, but it ain't.
No, listen, you got what you got the magic in there. I know that's a magic concoction that
Oh
you
yeah,
got
yeah,
going
yeah,
on in
yeah,
there.
yeah, yeah. That's a magic concoction. You're right. You're right. You're right. Well, you know, you and I have known each other for some time, and you've done a few forums and been at a few of my forums before. And I definitely wanted to go down the road of black radio. Big up to brother Shabazz Wilson, who used to do those big events at LIU. He's on that Facebook live right now.
Mm-hmm.
Um, so we're broadcasting on both Facebook and on YouTube. So you and I have done radio for many years, and I started back in the day, but I love when the younger people keep it going and keep it continuing because y'all got to bring the fire and y'all got to bring that energy from the melanated perspective because there's so much going on. And to start, I was talking about the state of the black radio and how a lot of the stations are not black owned anymore here in New York City. You
Right,
know what
right,
I'm saying?
right, right,
If
right,
not,
right.
none of them are. Not even LIBBLS are anymore. Let's be real.
Listen, right, right.
So, and of course, they're propping up a lot of these, DJs and artists and entertainers as the black face of the broadcast corporations or conglomerates right
Mm-hmm.
now. The Steve
Right.
Harveys and all these people that are on these stations, it's all conglomerates that's backing them. And you and I did a forum before with Bob Law
Yes.
before, and he
Yes.
spoke heavily. That's why I know I got to get Bob Law, the doctor himself. Got to get Bob Law on here, and
Absolutely.
and I forgot the other sister's name that we had up there with us too, because she was
Oh
also
yes, I know. Yeah, I can't think of her
Imani.
name.
I think her name
Right.
was Imani or Fatima. I forgot her name,
Right.
but she was also because she worked with Ralph McDaniels and a lot of different people back in the day. So
Yeah.
it was so. What? How do you feel about black radio today? Because you're on WHCR, which is the voice of Harlem, so to
Mm-hmm.
speak, and
Mm-hmm.
it's still predominantly a strong black presence in the voice of Harlem on WHCR. How do you feel about black radio overall today?
Well, how I feel about radio,
Yeah.
radio is actually a tool.
Mm,
It's can be used as warfare, as
mm,
media. You know, when whoever controls the outlet that goes out to what people are hearing is actually in control of what the masses are receiving and what they are taking as truth. Because
mm.
oftentimes when you hear news, you're like, oh, I heard somebody got shot, or I heard this happened. Well, you're going to go on that, you're going to go with what you heard, and then you're going to tell that story. So whoever's controlling the media, and I'm sorry for the background noise. Listen, I got to have the window open right now because
It's
I'm
all right.
hot.
It's all
So
right.
excuse any of the Bronx backyards that you hear going
The
on. It's a
boogie
cat
down.
fight.
I know the boogie down. I know the boogie.
There's a lot going on right here.
It's all
But
right.
But but they agreeing with me. That just shows that that's confirmation because they hear what I'm saying. But
Hmm.
realistically, radio itself, radio waves are very important. And so even when you're talking about handheld radio waves, when there's natural disasters, when there's things that
Right.
happen, who has the power to get these things out? And so oftentimes, because and I have to be very careful how I use the term. I'm just going to say black or melanated, or
Yeah.
our communities, we often don't hold the monetary wealth. And
Right.
so oftentimes we are so ready to get that monetary wealth, because when you don't have it, you want it. When your ribs are touching, you like, listen, I want some food, I want to be able to eat. So
Right.
we often sell ourselves too short,
Right.
right? And
Hmm.
so a lot of our media networks, when we hear that they're getting sold, or somebody offers you $100 million and you couldn't even keep your lights on, you're like, hey, I'll sell that off. But 20 years from now, right? Because when 98.7 was
Hmm.
sold off, or when
Hmm.
BLS or BET and all these things were sold off,
Hmm.
now we're 20 years out, and
Hmm.
so now where's that money at, and,
Hmm.
and and we don't have that outlet anymore,
Right.
and so what happens is, then the powers that be have these outlets, and they put on whatever they want to put on, and put the
Hmm.
black face on it, and hire that person that's saying, listen, what did Steve Harvey say? He said he's about his money. So when
Hmm.
you hire somebody who is about their money, then they're willing to do and put on and say a lot of things that don't make no sense,
Right.
and
Right.
so then we end up in a quagmire, because we end up in a situation where we are listening to, and these are the only outlets that we have, and so then our outlets get very thin, and then there's nobody out here putting anything on, except for people like yourself and all the other conscious people that you work with, who are getting out right now, getting this out on the internet, which is
Right.
awesome, because
Right.
it's like it opened up a new portal for everybody.
Right.
But the problem is that it closes the door, and so it's not a norm. And so
Right.
that's that. I don't know if that answers your
No,
question.
no, 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 no. That's, I mean, you basically summed it up the way I would expect you to sum it up, because I know me coming off of one of the major black-owned radio station of the time, which was WWRL Super 1600, where it graduated some of the greatest, from Frankie Crocker to Gary Bird to Alma John and all these great people that I was had the privy of studying. Never really was in their presence when they was on that radio. I was like the
Right.
last of the Mohicans on WWRL, and
Right.
plus when Sid Smalls, I think, passed on. I think that was the last, because he had died, and he was a good friend of mine too. He's an Aquarius like me, so, and he died riding his bike. You know what I'm saying? And he
Oh
was worth
wow.
like $70 million riding your bike. You know what I'm saying?
Mm.
He always used to exercise. So I understood, and he always kept himself fit and kept himself simple. He was right there amongst the Percy Suttons who used to own, of
Right.
course, WBLS and WLIB and all of those. So when those men started transit, and we talking about New York family, but I know it's going on worldwide, because the major companies like Ennis Broadcasting or Clear Channel is
Mm-hmm.
owning the major over 1,500 stations across the whole United States.
Right.
So I already know the history of when they
Right.
started making these changes, and I was there during the change, because the talk radio was going off and people was going towards FM. I remember growing up and remember when Frankie Crocker went to FM, and then it just turned out from the AM down to now, because AM was the most successful, because it
Mm.
stretched forth even longer. Matter of fact, still to this day, AM frequency is still a stronger frequency, long as far as reach wise.
Right.
When it comes to traveling across seas, you can actually pick up AM, because that's all about ham radio and all that.
I
But
didn't know that.
FM is more the real clear dial, and what you needed for that point in time. So when Frankie Crocker went in, I remember listening to Frankie Crocker when I was young, and always saying, "Man, I like how he's speaking and how he do things." And but over since those times, sister, the radio has lost its flair. It's become more of a buffoonery type thing, if I could
Mm-hmm.
say that word, because they're hiring. And I'm not against any of them getting work, but I know people like myself who was trained under polished producers, and under brothers that knew how to create the theater of the mind, like Imhotep, Gary Bird, that you knew how to speak and present. Even if you was just listening to them, you would think you're right there in the living room with them. You're right there in the house. We grew up off of that radio era, and of course things were supposed to change eventually to something like this. But I think young people like yourself that are been in the radio world for at least 10 years or more have the ability to recreate it in another way, but also through these mediums right here, like the
Right.
YouTubes and the
Right.
and the StreamYards and the Zoom. So I think that's very important. And I'm glad that you're still there, so to speak. Now, what encouraged you going back into your history?
Yeah.
What encouraged you to get on radio? What encouraged you to do that?
So I just really want to say that number one, I'm really thankful for WHCR
Yeah.
because it's community radio and it really represents the people who are working in this community. If you go through each one of the hosts and each one of the shows,
Hmm.
you'll find people who are actually doing the work.
Hmm.
And since I have been there, it's been that way for a very long time. I can't tell you what it will be like in the future because we are going through a serious transition at this point.
Hmm.
But WHCR, if you go through the track record of people that have been on there, I
Hmm.
mean, it has been very, very serious people on
Yes.
there.
Hmm.
And so the how I got started was through my father, and
Hmm.
it was with Leroy Baylor. There just was a group of people, and they were called the Communicators. This is over 20 years ago, and
Right.
I had I was lucky enough to experience that. And so I started, doing research. And, he told me, he said, listen, don't tell nobody that we're related because you got to pull your own weight on your own,
Hmm.
on your own leg. And,
Right.
and I was really offended. I was like, how you going to say that? But what he was saying was
Right.
that you have to build yourself on
Hmm.
yourself.
Yes.
And I really appreciate that because through life, like, him and we're in a lot of the same circles, and people don't even know that that's my father. We'll go to, different meetings. I sit on the board of directors for
Right.
different hospitals and things of that nature. And I'm getting this information. I'm in the community. I'm constantly, out. We're activists, right? And we're
Hmm.
doing these things, and we're talking to people, and then we'll walk in a room, and people won't even know that we're related. It's real funny, and they're like, "What?" Yeah, and so in a sense, it's like having the opportunity to work, but you're kind of working behind the scenes. You
Hmm.
don't always have to be in the forefront and have everybody know what your situation is. For some people that works and that's their story, but
Right.
for us, I've I've learned a lot of technical things. I've learned the inner workings of how things work. And sometimes when you learn the inner workings of things, you don't always have to talk about them. You don't always have to be the person that's in the front. Sometimes the engineer or the production manager is making sure so
Hmm.
many things are happening. I mean, the station manager has a job in which she doesn't even get rest because you're constantly listening, constantly doing all these things behind the scenes, but
Hmm.
people only see, when they turn on, click, it's there, and that's
Right.
what you see. But there's a lot that goes on behind it, and I think
Hmm.
that's representative of how our movements have to be.
Right.
There has to be a back part in which we don't always see, and we're not always talking about what's happening up front, and we're working and we're building together in order to make these systems go. Because I mean, man, there's a lot happening right underneath our nose all
Hmm.
at the same time, and it's like, I mean, yeah, that's what I
Yeah.
have to say.
No, 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 no. I totally get it, and that's a beautiful way to break it down, and how WHCR and other community radio stations from Brooklyn, Bronx, and Manhattan was very important and very instrumental, because I know back in Brooklyn was Medgar Evers
Mm-hmm.
Community College, because I
Mm-hmm.
remember being over there and working and seeing all my great jocks and all that. But there was also the broker radio stations where you had to pay for time. Up to this day, I used to be on broker radio station, but then there was pirate radio stations.
Yeah. Yeah.
The pirates
Right.
started out in England, and I've been on pirate stations here in New York. So I've been up and down to this
And
thing.
that's important. That's
Yeah,
important too.
you
That's
keep.
important too. Yes,
Yeah,
because they get out certain information that they're not going to go through on the
right.
regular airways, and we need all of those. We need all those parts. One thing it just makes me think of is when people say, well, I don't understand why people are marching, or I don't understand why people are doing this. Listen, you need all parts.
Yeah,
It's like a moving machine. We just can't have everybody who's in the same lane doing everything. You need the people who are good at doing this, they're good at doing
yes.
that. That's your lane and that's your lane. And then we come together as a whole and then move this whole thing forward.
That's right. That's right. And those that are just tuning in, we are speaking with one of the media personalities out here in New York City, the one, the only Keziah Glow. Remember, you could hit her up also on Instagram at Keziah Glow too. And you could also email her for consultation or some advice on if you want to step into radio, whether it's blog or whether you want to do a podcast. Sisters like this can actually help you out. Her email is keziahglow at gmail. Her, of course, we're going to get into our essential oil products, but also if you want to show her some cash app love, because we like to spread love. Ba, ba, da. We like to spread love. So that's what we do. And make sure you show her some cash app love at $ Keziah Glow and the paypal.me/Keziah Glow. Make sure you get into that and check her out on WHCR.org/news. She is doing the great work over there, WHCR. And once I'm so happy, I'm going through the website and I realized that WHCR still hold classes, radio journalism classes. Man, I mean,
Yes, yes,
my
yes,
goodness. I
yes.
remember being a radio host at WWRL where the producers had to actually train us on how to deal with politicians and how to handle certain things because I was a morning show host at one point. When I was just doing my own show, they didn't bother me. But when it
Right.
came to that, I had to rock the morning and go up against other people in the morning. They had to show us how to get in and out and this and that, the cue. And I was with Ken Webb also, Ken Spiderweb, some of the great ones. But tell us about the classes. Are you a part of any of these classes when teaching the students at all?
Not at this point. I mean, right now nobody is in the station
Of course,
because the station is out. It's off air.
of course.
But the station manager, she is Angela Harden. She's
Hmm.
actually a professor at the college, and
Hmm.
so she holds the classes, the journalist classes, and she's very. She's been hands on in helping me with my career. Like
Yeah.
she'll walk me through so many different things, and I'm so thankful to have someone like her because it helps me to to
Hmm.
build on what I already know. Oftentimes, there are a lot of people who really talk a lot, right, and they
Right.
have great personalities,
Hmm.
but you need to be refined. And
Right.
when you're doing interviews, oftentimes the most important thing is to
Yes.
listen to what people are saying in between. So if you're doing all the talking, you can't give that person a space to build and then ask
Hmm.
the right questions and then pull out and then do your research before so you know who you're
Hmm.
talking to, because that's
Hmm.
really important.
Hmm.
So just having someone like Angela Harden, who has been really cultivating and working with me, has been amazing. I have to say that.
Hmm. No, I'm glad you said that because it's just like judges that have to listen to 6 hours or more of deliberation so you
Right.
can hear what people are not saying
Saying
in the radio.
exactly.
And that's what I was taught because mine was more entertaining music. But then when we got on the morning show, people like Ken Webb started schooling me, and Ken used to be on Kiss FM and these other major stations, and people like Prince Kalunda and Rennie Bishop. And these people used to say, Simon, you have to do this. Simon, you got to calm down on your hype. Especially when you're doing morning show because you're waking up people in the
Right,
morning.
right,
So I
right.
know classes are essential,
Yes.
and that's why I hope they at least doing online or start doing online classes at least because this type of classes, journalism classes, are very good. And that's at a CUNY College, right? CUNY College in New York,
Yes,
too.
yes,
Yes,
yes. City
and
College of
and
New York. Yes.
well, I'm like I said, I'm just happy. I'm just happy that people like you, because I was just recently on your show, dropping some Numerovation.
Yes.
Had a good time on there. We definitely got to do part two because I just we gotta keep on.
Absolutely, absolutely. And that's important because we don't realize like these jobs are available to us if we
Yeah,
want them, and then
yeah,
we can create our own platforms.
yes, yes.
Like being able to do both. When we turn on channel 1 or channel 12, or
Hmm.
being able to see ourselves, but then also creating our own media platforms, creating our
Yeah.
own spaces, because realistically, this day and age, we're seeing so many systems break down that you can create apps, you can create news apps, you can create these things. Sometimes we have to come together to work in order to create these things, and I think
Hmm.
that's the hardest part for us sometimes, is the working together,
Hmm.
because we are so um we come with so much baggage that sometimes it's really hard for us to get together and build. So many of us in the communities, we're geniuses,
Yeah.
really. But the
Yeah.
hard part is being able to put the ego aside and know when, hey, I'm wrong, or know when that's not working, or wait, I can tweak that and I can be a little bit different so that I can actually get to the finish line and we can do it as a collective and do it as a community. And so
Mm.
that's one of the building blocks. I think it goes across with most areas that we're dealing with, but
Hmm.
being that we're speaking about radio and
Right.
media,
Hmm.
it's our collective,
Right.
being able to own our media, being able to own our news. And you would hear for a long time, oh, when there's something that goes on with a person of color, a black person, they put the picture up, and when it's a
Hmm.
white person, they don't put the picture
Right.
up.
Right.
Like these are old things that they've been doing. We got to change that because there's a lot of news and there's a lot of things happening. One thing that we had created with Harlem Emergency Network was we're working with the two-way radios. So
Hmm.
being able to report back to each other, so you have people at different locations that can report news that's actually happening in your community. Now you would be shocked at all the news that happens in your community that never makes it to channel 12 or wherever you're watching, because there's so
Hmm.
many things that we don't hear about, so many things going on. And so
Hmm.
when you're able to have a strategized network of people that can work together and we can provide that information, this is what's happening in the Bronx. It's coming into one central location. These are some of the things that we're working on building.
Mm. And very interesting what you said earlier about that finish line that we all have to get to together, and earlier, because looking at media and where it's going now through YouTube and various podcasting and all that, there's a divide going on. If you
Mm-hmm.
notice, I've noticed the divide. Of course, there's people that want to put good content, and there's people that want to put on the content that everybody's, the world star.
Oh
They want
yeah,
to they
yeah,
want to do that,
yeah,
which
yeah.
is still, that's what even hip hop was about, the voice of the community in
Right.
various levels, whether it's from LA, the West Coast, whether it's from the East Coast. Where do you see hindsight, where do you see our the media and black media going, especially now that we everybody can put something up? Now that everybody can put something up, anybody can put. I've seen a no-legged woman with no arms put something up and throw up a whole video
And watch it go viral.
and watch it go viral.
Yeah, yeah.
Exactly. So yeah,
I
where do
mean,
you see that, please?
I really, to be honest with you, I feel like sometimes I live in a bubble,
Mm,
like, and
mm,
that's not a good thing all the time. I kind of protect myself because there's so much information that's going on. Because I'm a very sensitive person, because I'm
mm.
empathic and I can feel a lot of things. I can be affected by a lot of the stuff that I see. So I close myself off to a lot. But then when I really realize what people are watching and what they're really looking at, I'm mortified. I'm like, oh man, this is where we're at. This is the most important thing to us. And
Mm,
so you can't live in a world, and I'm speaking for myself, you
mhm.
can't just live in your bubble though. You know what I mean? Because it's
Right,
safe and it's like, oh, it's conscious and it's a lot of people and everybody's evolving and everybody's starting their businesses and they're getting to the next level. Everybody is not in that space.
right,
And
right.
that's where the work is. And
Mhm.
so in defense of myself, on the other flip side is that
Right,
for over, I'd say, 20 years, I've been working in social work. Radio was one part of the leg that I do, but
right.
I've been working in social work since I was like 20 something years old. I work with the Department of Education. I work with, substance abuse, the homeless shelters, SROs,
Mhm.
straight. And then I worked for Bloomberg. I was doing, I was an analyst at Bloomberg, and
Okay.
that was a different experience. Bloomberg Radio, that was a lot there. And
Yes.
so,
Us.
um, what I will say is that my life has
Mhm.
been in the trenches,
Right.
where the conscious, conversations are had. That's great,
Mhm.
but
Right.
my everyday life is like in these situations that are real life situations. And I think that the beauty of it is when you can bring the consciousness
Mhm.
to the substance abuse, when you
Mm,
can bring those together. And that's what I'm working on building now with the real estate and the housing that I provide. I want
mm.
to be able to bring that consciousness and then bring it over here to this substance abuse conversation, or to the shelters, or to the supportive housing.
No, no, and that's very interesting because you're basically like a spook who sat by the door.
Listen, listen. I mean,
Basically, I
listen,
don't want to say it is that's what you are, but I
but
just want so people don't. I want you to know that if you watch the movie by Sam Greeley, or I got the book, I read, I had the book and I got the movie. But if you watch and pay attention to the movie, when you bring in consciousness to these different venues, because he was a
yeah,
social worker, he was a this, he was a that. That's very important, and I think I want to go in towards what you do as a social worker, and then your real estate incorporating into that, and then we want to go to probably close it off with the prison reform,
yeah.
because I know you have a lot of involvement in that field also, due to any other situations. But let's deal with the social work, and what do you see that's going on in our community, especially with our children in regards to social work? I know that's a whole nother show, to tell you the truth. But briefly, you can touch on it briefly. I don't want you to incriminate yourself in any way.
At this point, it's like I've done so much work. Like I have children who are no longer children, and
Right.
they're having children now,
Wow.
and so they're yeah, like I have grandbabies that I have helped, you know, and
Right.
so I'm so blessed to be able to say that, that
Yes.
I have been, and I'm a young person. I haven't even had children yet. I want to have children, but I started working in this field young, and
Right.
at that point, I didn't know that this was going to be a life path.
Mm.
Like I'm gonna be honest with you, I used to go to the club and then go to work and then still be like
Me,
still be
me too. Don't worry. Me too.
right.
Me too.
Right. And I would be like, oh my God, what am I doing? They'd be like, Miss Sullivan. And I'd be like, I don't know. Ah. But I stuck with it. And so realistically, when you realize what the history of social work, the
Right.
social worker was the
Mm-hmm.
person who rips the children away from the families, or the
Mm-hmm.
one that would say, oh, well, you have a man here, so you can't get any food. So then it breaks up the women, and then it breaks up the household. And when you take those classes, and this is no disrespect to anyone else, anybody watching, but when you sit in those classes, and there aren't a lot of people of color in these classes at Fordham University, you know what I mean? And they're
Mm-hmm.
studying your situation, that I'm like, hey, hold up, this whole situation, let move over, let me teach this class. Let me tell y'all how I was just up at Franklin Correctional Facility this weekend. So this
Mm-hmm.
here that you're reading in this textbook, let's have a real conversation.
Mm-hmm.
Let's talk about this opioid epidemic. What are
Mm-hmm.
you talking about? Because at the end of the day, this opioid epidemic, when this was hitting everybody, and everybody on my block
Mm-hmm.
um, was on heroin. This wasn't an opioid epidemic, so don't come with this. And so these things are painted. That social work term, I think that, and this is no disrespect, but white people shouldn't even be able to be social workers. You shouldn't
Mm-hmm.
even be able to have that, because you can't. And that's the problem, is that our whole life is people are getting degrees based
Mm-hmm.
on my life. No, there needs to be more sisters, more brothers, who are teaching. You go into these schools, these public schools, these are all white people coming into these public schools. You cannot teach these children. And Umar Johnson, I don't know, where you stand. I know there's a lot of
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
controversy with him, but he be on it.
Yeah.
Like I had him on my show years ago, and it's really true. You can't sit here and tell me about ADHD and all of these things for these children, and you don't even understand how these children work. You don't even understand the inner workings of these children. You don't even understand what they're coming from. I remember having children that would come to school, and you open up their book bag, and like it smells like weed, and the homework you send home is not even in there. You understand what
Mm.
I'm saying? So how you dealing with that? You know what
Right.
I mean? Like this is not just, oh, these kids got to be, they're shooting. There's 28 shootings or 64 shootings that actually happened in this city last week. There was a
Mm-hmm.
baby that was shot recently, but
Yes.
then we have to double back and get back to, okay, what's up with this music? You
Mm-hmm.
understand? Like this music has sucked for a very long time. I love hip hop, but I can't take these lyrics to this music, and they put them over these beats, which they get into, the layering of the music, the layering of
Right.
the computerized music. Everybody's walking around with these headphones. Everybody's underneath this whole mind control. You get into the food, you get into all these things. So now you have these children who you were giving them all of this Ritalin. I know it's a different medication, but you were giving
Right.
them all these drugs. Now they're older. Now you shut the school down, and now we're saying, oh, there's all these shootings. Well, what do you think is going to happen when they sit in there playing on these video games 8 hours a day, learning how to shoot, and they becoming marksmen, and they're shooting at one another, and they dropping the guns in the hood. So
Mm-hmm.
my conversation is, you know, we can't have these conversations anymore. Like, it's great to sit down and have the platforms, but if you're not getting out on these streets and you're not doing that, see, every right now I have, as of March, I've been kind of chill because I'm regrouping everything.
Mm-hmm.
But since I was in my 20s, I have been outside. I've been in these streets.
Mm-hmm.
Working with people who have substance abuse, sitting right there, having these conversations. Matter of fact, my phone was going off because one of my own clients, he's drunk today, and I'm talking to him about some things today. And
Mm-hmm.
so, it's for me, it's not just like social work. It's like, this is my family.
Mm-hmm.
These are the people that are my neighbors. This is my cousin, this is my uncle. And
Right.
so we have to be able to step into these roles, and we have to take these roles. We need to be getting paid for it, and that goes to the breakdown and the defunding of the police department. You know what
Mm-hmm.
I'm saying? And I know I'm going on because you asked me one question, but I'm just gonna go on this tangent. That you get into Black Lives Matter and all of that. We know there's a whole bunch of craziness behind Black Lives Matter, but I
Yeah.
will say this: the energy behind Black Lives Matter has propelled a lot of stuff that is going on. Let's
Mm-hmm.
roll with that. You know what I
Right.
mean? Sometimes we get into, oh wait, you said, and then they said this, and then they said the Quran, you can't read it in English. You got to come on, stop.
Mm-hmm.
We spend too much time doing that.
Mm-hmm.
When you see that opening happening and getting into the spook who next sat next to the door, when you see that opportunity present itself, get through it.
Right.
Take that opportunity, because right now, Vanessa Gibson, if you're in the Bronx, get
Mm-hmm.
on her mailing list. They just said they giving out $64 million in fiscal year 21, 2112. I pull it up. It's
2020,
all
21, 2021.
2021. Yeah, there's $64 million for community things. There's 64, all of these billions of dollars that they're throwing out because they just did that big old bailout. So now they got all this free money that they want to toy around. We need to have our stuff together so that we
Mm-hmm.
can say, hey, I'll be the credible messenger who will be out on the street, because I'm already out on the street, because we know them. You know what I mean? Like, when you see this one and that one having this dispute, we can be the one to have that conversation with them,
Right.
because that's us.
Right.
So the problem is when we have these outside forces, we have these social workers, we have these police officers, we have all these people that come in and say, oh, you guys need to de-escalate. You don't even know what de-escalating looks like for our community. There's no reason why you should get $1 of the money that comes into our communities. And
Right.
so we scale back. How do we get there? We need to be able to sit down, get your business situation in order, get your 501c3s in order, get your
Mm-hmm.
things in order. However you're going to do it, if you're going to do it on a Moorish capacity or you're going to do it on this capacity, get the paperwork in order. And that's what we have to understand, is getting that paperwork in order, sometimes getting quiet, and then working together and not having the information and not sharing it.
Right.
Because that's another thing, is that we get into, well, I know the information because I'm in, I get over yourself. Share
Mm-hmm.
the information, and
Right.
and everything doesn't have to have, well, if I'm gonna share this with you, you got to give me $1. Bro, I ain't got $1. You know what I mean? Like,
Mm-hmm.
sometimes you don't have $1. So, should be able to get to a place where you can share the information, where we can sit down and we can build, and we can do this in a place where we can do it together.
Right.
And I know I've been on a tangent. I'm
No, no,
sorry.
no. Hey, look, like you earlier, you mentioned Umar Johnson. I have no problems with Umar Johnson.
Okay, there you go. I like the
I mean,
brother, but
I mean, I
I
know,
don't know
I know,
who.
I know he's going through what he's going through. I
Yeah,
know he needs a certain order around him, but I've purchased his book and I've supported at point of time. But you gotta, everybody gotta be real about certain things. If you see
yeah,
things not happening, you
yeah,
still get a little skeptical because it's all right. We all
yeah.
have a choice. We can listen. So,
and and
you know,
all of us got our shit. Like,
yeah,
if you go, if you go up in my closet, shit, you
I'm
might find
sure.
some shit.
There's
We
always
all got
a
things.
bone somewhere, some bone
Listen,
somewhere.
listen, some bones,
That's why. That's why I love what when Wendy and I used to work on the same network. I used to work with Karen Hunter, her ghostwriter, and Karen used to say Karen used to say, Wendy always say put your stuff out there. Yeah, Wendy said just
Yeah,
tell your
yeah,
stuff, and I tell all my stuff. I can care less what it is.
yeah. I do
You're gonna come
too.
back and hit me back with it. That's why my book, shameless plug, coming out. It's called When the Late Bell Rang. It's coming out, my autobiography. Oh yeah, I'm gonna touch some people, but I won't mention any names. It's just what it
No,
is.
I feel you. I feel you. I mean, sometimes it's hard for, I mean, getting into like the whole prison situation, it was
Yeah.
hard for me to deal with that and hard for me to talk about that because, you know, due to unfortunate events, somebody that I love, my
Right.
husband is incarcerated, and, you know, we were like moving, like, okay, we're going to do this and this and this and that. And, you know, it's one thing to like I said, to be on the activist side and be like, okay, we're going to do this, and you know, but then when you really have to be, either you're really incarcerated or somebody
Hmm.
you love is really incarcerated, it's completely different.
Right.
And so, you know, for a long time I was feeling like, oh, you know, people are going to judge me or whatever. It really doesn't matter. Like, people are going to judge you regardless. You're never going to say the right thing for everybody. You just have to
Right.
be yourself. And then also when you share your where you are, you know, other people are like, you know what, I'm there too, and I'm struggling with that too. And sometimes what you're going through helps somebody else, you
Right.
know. And so
Right.
like, um right now the correctional facilities are closed down. There are no visits that are happening,
Wow.
but making those 7-hour trips one way was
Hmm.
a completely different experience for me. I had never even actually seen the inside of a correctional facility.
Hmm.
And you know, just the whole court process and seeing how we are treated and how this is modern day slavery. And like, you could read that in a book all you want to, but when you see people, you know, your family, your loved ones walking with the shackles on, or even yourself wearing the
Hmm.
shackles, going through
Hmm.
this, and how this system is just like giving us numbers. You sit in court, we used to sit in court all day and watch everybody go and watch the numbers and all the information go by. I mean, all the people go by. They hand out those numbers like it's Skittles. And
Hmm.
so, you know, we forget because when you're in when you're doing okay, you know, it's like, I don't really have a reason to think about that. But I'm glad that I had this experience because it shed light into a situation that's like, oh my God, when you think about how many brothers and sisters are incarcerated at this time, how
Hmm.
many of them are still incarcerated over marijuana charges? How many of them are
Hmm.
incarcerated over things that are just not even fair, like the situation that I'm dealing with, you know?
Hmm.
And
Hmm.
so I'm saying this to say that there's so many things, back to the social work, that
Hmm.
are real life for
Right.
me. And so it became real when it was like, you know what, I'm really living this. This is,
Right.
I might as well just go get the paper to validate this because I'm already doing this work and I've been doing this work. And
And
I'm go ahead.
I've been trying to stress to you to write because
Yes, you have.
I've been stressing to you for
Yes, you have.
years to write,
Yes.
and it's important because this is all about documentation. This is all about the life that you're going through, and you have chosen to walk that road.
Yes.
You chose
Yes.
it. You
Yes.
didn't have to choose it, but you
Yes.
chose it
And
because we're
that's,
all
yeah.
choices.
And
Yeah.
that's the important thing to always remember. Like, when you get really upset or you get frustrated, you
Mm-hmm.
have to, I have to tell myself, like, I chose this. And yeah, I could have chosen an easier route, definitely. But
Mm-hmm.
I feel like this route has allowed me to see a part of life and experience a part of myself and build a fortitude that I didn't realize that I had, to
Right.
experience some things that I didn't know that happened in the world. And
Mm-hmm.
so when it's like, you know, like when you deal with magic, you know, it
Mm-hmm.
opens up another realm of the world. Or, you know, if you get attuned to Reiki, or you get, you know, certain things, it's like it opens certain things up, or you start getting air candling often, you
Mm-hmm.
start hearing things, you start seeing things, and then it's like the things that you thought were important before, they're grayed out, they don't even really matter, you know. You
Right.
start seeing the realm behind everything, and you can
Right.
hear. And
Right.
so it's really been an awesome experience for me because so many things that were right in front of your face, and they always say that they put it right in plain sight,
Mm-hmm.
but so many things that are sitting right in front of your face, you don't realize until you take a step back. Even like with this whole quarantine situation, we didn't realize how strung up, how tired, how oppressed in how, because we were functioning in this. And
Mm-hmm.
then it was like when people couldn't get certain things done, it's like the levees broke,
Mm-hmm.
and everybody was like, nah, I'm not doing this,
Right.
and it's still happening,
Mm-hmm.
and so that is one more thing I really want to get into also, is the preparedness aspect. And yes, and
Right.
being, I mean, you don't know what's coming down the pipeline, but
Mm-hmm.
it's important. Everybody's always talking about, your health, you got to do this. Yes, we know that, but sometimes we don't live it. And really being able to get yourself into a strong place, skipping meals.
Yeah.
Oftentimes we're eating too much. We've gotten
Yeah.
accustomed to eating so much food, to eating every day.
Yeah.
I believe there was a, what is that, breatharian or aeritarians? I can't remember.
Breatharian.
Breatharians.
Breatharian. Right. Called breath.
Right. There really is something to that, because
Mm-hmm.
when you remove much of the food in your body, it allows your body the space to, number one, work lighter, work easier. It allows your body to detox certain things. We in our society, we have way too much. We have way too much food. It clouds our brains, it clouds our judgments. We can't move fast enough. We
Right.
have to be able to discern and get the information, download, psychic, or whatever you want to call it. You got to get it real quick,
Mm-hmm.
because when the ball comes, you got to be able to jump.
Right.
Many of us, when this thing happened, many of us didn't know that this situation was going to happen.
Mm-hmm.
And however you're dealing with it is however you're dealing with it. But when March and February hit, a lot of us were like, oh shit, this is some new shit. And
Mm-hmm.
so we had to be able to readjust ourselves. You had to be able to say, okay, I'm gonna use StreamYard. I'm gonna use this, da 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 da. Let's
Yep.
keep it moving.
Yep.
We're not traveling like how we used to travel. We have to figure it out. We got to grow our own food. We got to do all these things. So in order to catch and be prepared to catch it when it comes, we have to be ready. And
Yeah.
so that means we have to be able to rest. We have to be able to think properly. Even if you are going to, smoke weed or do whatever, you got to make sure it's the right kind of weed. You
Mm-hmm.
can't smoke every type of weed. No,
Exactly.
I'm serious.
That's true.
And this is
That's
the
true.
time when you can grow your own weed. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
You can do things like that. So I'm just saying that to say we really, as a people, have to get attuned, because there's so many of us that are not even understanding and not on this wavelength. But I do feel that most people are feeling it. A lot of times they don't even know what it is.
Yeah, well, disaster preparedness. We've been doing that for a while, and
Yeah,
your father's been a part of it. Working with Aton and all of us has been doing it.
yeah.
And I,
Barry
I
Crumbly.
wasn't really hit off guard. It's only that I was on the road and coming back in is because, and even on the road, I had my stuff. But when I lost a lot of my stuff through Greyhound, that's
Mm-hmm.
when I said, okay, now I got to make some moves back. And that's when everything hit on my way back. I was like, after Kobe transition, that's
Yeah.
when everything just started going that hill.
Right.
It went to
Right.
that hill, but I was still all right because I'm one of those people that still travels with multiple things. And I tell people all the time, disaster preparedness is that exactly what it says: preparing yourself, not being reactive, but being proactive.
Mm-hmm.
Learning how to do and keep certain things. Books like Preparedness Now by Aton Edwards, or you can go to the FEMA website and get good information and then add on because they only could give you but so much. But when we used to teach our classes, it was different because we taught improvising and adapting, learning how to improvise and adapt to situations by any means necessary, whether it's the use of improvised weapons, improvised tents, improvised
Wow.
foods, whatever, water system, water filtration system.
Yep.
We learned that through Aton. As a matter of fact, I'm going to be he's coming down to New York to meet with me briefly, just to because he got his new book that's coming out. So that's going to be that's going to be a fire book. 'Cause this is his last book before he
Wow.
goes underground. So our
Nice.
brother, we it's a lot of work, and I'm just those that are watching. I'm gonna see if I can get him on because I know Aton will be a very good thing. Just like your pops, I know your pops is into it. No respect to him that's been
Yeah,
doing it.
and we're working together. We created the South Bronx
Yes,
Emergency Network, SBEN, and I
yes,
mean
yes, yes.
we've been working. It's a COAD, and so
Yeah.
basically what a COAD does is it brings in different community organizations, and when
Hmm.
something goes wrong, we did the FEMA training, which is the
Yes,
ICM
yes.
training, and basically we're able to mobilize, and we don't really have to depend on outside agencies because we have everything. We know where the schools are, we know the shelters, we know everything,
Right.
so we can basically help ourselves. Underneath that, we've been doing mass giveaways. We're doing a credible messenger. We're going to get the people out on the ground. We're going to be doing a lot of stuff within the community because we're, like I said, we're already doing it. But
Right.
that is that's what it is right now. I mean,
Hmm.
either you're going to get into the health component, in which you're going to
Hmm.
be dealing with the herbs, you're going to be dealing with the holistic, fortifying your body, getting your
Right.
body strong. You got to have to get your mind strong, and
Hmm.
then having your area, knowing what you're going to do when systems break down. I mean, it's warm right now, and this is kind of like a moment for us to get it in order because we really don't know what's coming down the pipeline, especially with the schools, the children, having
Right.
that situation in order.
Right.
One more thing I will say is another project I'm the president of is the Girls Project, and so I haven't launched it as of yet, but basically it's for young women and
Mhm.
older women who've been impacted by the criminal justice system
Yeah.
or prior to being impacted. So we
Okay.
want to reach out to young people who may be going in that direction. So
Right.
that is going to be another credible messenger situation where I'm dealing with women. And
Hmm.
so together we're working on all of these projects. Much of it is being done in the South Bronx right now.
Hmm.
Realistically, this is one of the most uh, heaviest hit areas in the
Hmm.
city. But
Hmm.
I, and the thing about it is, I'm doing it with my father. I'm doing it with my sister. She's Mimi Jones. She's a bass player. She's
Yes.
played with Beyonce. She's a jazz ambassador. Her husband is Luis Perdomo. They were always traveling. Like
Mm.
you would never catch them in the same room twice.
Right.
And so when this hit, it was like, oh wow, like it caught them off guard because they can't travel no more. They used to
That's
being
right.
gone all the time.
That's
And
right.
so, right. So what we did was we created this show called the MLK Show, and it comes on Friday evenings at 8 o'clock. And it streams off of their Facebook page. I haven't even done the technical to get it off of mine, but basically they're playing and I'm doing the hosting.
Wow.
And it's great
Wow.
because you get to hear the live music, and they're amazing.
Hmm.
We've been working on like a lot of the technical for the last couple
Hmm.
of weeks, but we finally got it up and running, and so that's cool being able to work with them. We're going to work on some documentaries, so we're just really working on projects. And like I said, I'm open to answering anybody's questions, anybody
Hmm.
who needs help with anything, or they're trying to figure out their way. I don't know everything,
Of course. Right.
realistically.
Right.
I'm real serious about that, but if I can put you in the right place like King Simon always does, I mean, he's the master connector, you
Hey,
know.
what's the name? Just shouted you out on Facebook. Jabril Muhammad from Respect the Life
Yes,
People. Yeah, he say
but Jabril was the engineer at WHCR.
yes, yes, yes. Right.
Yeah,
That's right. That's
he was the engineer for a very long time, and then
right.
he graduated from college, and then he moved. So I think
Yeah.
he's
Right.
abroad. But definitely, I want to give a big shout out to all the hosts, the
Right.
station manager Angela Harden, my pops, for like definitely bringing
Right.
me into that conversation because I am very blessed to be able to experience that, and anybody that I can help or bring into that conversation, listen, I'm here. Email me, ask me any questions. I may take a second to get back, but
Right.
I got you. You
Like
know.
she said, you could contact Keziah Glow and email her via keziahglow@gmail.com. And we're going to talk about that. And we ain't talking about the essential oils yet. We got to get into that. But her website for the essential oil
Oh
is
yeah.
myйл.com/Keziah Glow, and Cash App. But show us some Cash App love because she really dropped a lot of information, a lot of wisdom that she's coming from different and various backgrounds, which as number ones, that's what we do. We have so many darn hats. Lord.
That's true.
And
That's true.
a Keziah Glow, a Cash App is a $ Keziah Glow. PayPal is paypal.me/Keziah Glow. And of course, listen to on WHCR.org/news and hit her up. Now, let's talk about this essential oil because essential oil, matter of fact, I'm about to write that in my last portion of my book about the healing and my finishing portion of the book because essential oils, Reiki and stones and all that is a part of mental stability, and it can help with mental stability. Like smelling lavender can calm you down and all that. Break down some of the essential oils you have on your website, my dear.
Okay, so I will just, get
Okay.
into essential oils. I'm dealing with the Young Living essential oils. I like that brand
Right.
because it's a therapeutic grade, they're food grade, which
Right.
means that, some of them you can ingest them. And
Okay.
so when you get into the essential oil, it's the plant, but it's the purest form of the
Right.
plant. And
Mhm.
so when you add that to a capsule, or you add that to certain oils, or you add that to your water, your body, it gets into your body, and it's a very powerful tool
Mhm.
to break down illness, to break down free radicals. As soon as you add the lemon,
Mhm.
oftentimes when you're smelling it, it does something for your mood, for your energy, for your skin.
Okay.
I'm going to be honest, I do a lot of healing on myself with
Mhm.
the essential oils.
Right.
I do have the website up, and I don't really, you know, look for people to buy them. People run to me and they're like, hey, I ran out of this one. I need it. It's kind of like once you start using them and you feel the benefit and you feel how
Right.
powerful it is, it's like it's a type of thing where you feel how you feel that, and it's different than any other essential oil because of the fact that it's therapeutic. I know that there are other brands like doTERRA, and
Mhm.
there's some other brands, but I
Now. Mhm.
personally, I
Mhm.
don't feel I don't feel that they're as powerful as the Young Living essential oils.
Mhm.
Also, like when you're using the peppermints.
Yeah.
Another one is thieves.
Mhm.
They say if you look it up, that blend, the grave robber, the reason why they named it that, the grave robbers during the bubonic plague
Mhm.
used to go and put it on themselves and then rob the graves, and they would steal all of the stuff, and they didn't get the bubonic plague. I'm gonna say this: I read something where they said the bubonic plague is now in China. So
Wow.
I'm like, dang, well, this one is subsiding. Now we got this one coming over. So I'm saying this to say this, the essential oils really go into the healing of our bodies.
Right.
Of course, you can't have a completely messed up lifestyle and then think that the
Yeah.
essential oil is going
Exactly.
to save you. It doesn't work like that. But when you're using them, when you're putting them on your body, they go into your cells. You can definitely feel it. I feel it immediately after I take it. When I have headaches, and I
Yeah.
ingest them or I put them on my head, I feel a difference
Right,
immediately.
right. Well, once again, sister, I want to thank you very much for being a part of the King Simon Presents journey. I
Yes,
know you hide up inside this,
I know. I'm at my sister's house right now. I'm like,
and I understand. I understand. And once again, family, we definitely enjoyed what Keziah Glow had to share with us. And please email her at keziahglow@gmail.com. Her essential oil products, of course, is www.mywl.com/Keziah Glow. And Cash App is $ Keziah Glow. PayPal, paypal.me/Keziah Glow. And if you want to find out some information about real estate and all that, you could talk to her about that also, because I know she's been involved with that for some years. And if you want to listen to her on radio, you can always listen to her on, of course, WHCR.org/news. I got to give you a well deserved round of applause because you rocked it as usual. My crowd is here waiting to show some love. Where y'all at, crowd? Where y'all at? Oh, baby. I
ah.
give y'all all the money. I give y'all all the money. Y'all got the money. you know?
Oh, yes. Well, I thank you so much for having me on.
Yeah,
I'm usually not the person answering the questions, so this was a little, scary for me because I'm usually interviewing other people. But I
yeah.
thank you so much for giving me the opportunity and speaking with me. Thank you so much for all the work that you do, King
Thank,
Simon.
thank you,
Yes.
sister. Well, you flowed right in it. You flowed with me, so that was good. I like that. So now it's time for you to do some more interviews and stuff.
Yeah, man. There's a lot of questions I'm ready to ask because I'm nosy. I want to ask all the questions. I want to find
you,
out all the business, what's going on.
exactly. All right, my beautiful sister. Thank your sister also for helping out and tell her to keep her. Because when she said she played the bass, I did talk to your sister offline, and I said, you play the Fender? She said, I play the Fender. I play this. I said, because I used to have a reggae band,
Yeah,
so I
right,
remember, I remember
right.
that. So, I
Yes.
said, okay, that's good. So she doing her thing, man, and her husband. So that's great, man.
Yes, yes. And
And tell your husband I send my greetings too.
I
Tell him I
will.
send my
I will. He
greetings.
called right before the show, and he did. And I definitely free tea to Vario. Keep him in your thoughts,
Yes,
and check us out on Fridays on the MLK show.
yes.
And thank you so much, King Simon, for this opportunity.
You're welcome. You be safe. All right.
Okay.
All right. Peace and
Peace.
love.
Peace.
That's our beautiful sister. That's right, our beautiful sister, Keziah Glow. Make sure you show her some love. Make sure you go to that website again if you want to find out about the essential oils that she got that you could use. You can add the food grade oil that you can internally ingest. That's www.mywl.com/Keziah Glow. And you can email her for some advice or some consultation if you want to do radio or you want to do a blog or you want to do something like this and you feel kind of nervous and you're feeling kind of, second guessing yourself and indecisive, boom, guess what? Keziah Glow can be there for you. KeziahGlow at gmail.com. No trolls, please. No trolls, no crazy people. KeziahGlow at gmail.com. And show us some Cash App love as much as you can. Everything counts. You know what I'm saying? That's $ Keziah Glow. PayPal.me/Keziah Glow. Those that are outside the United States that really can't share a Cash App. And also, she deals with real estate. That's the Morrisania real estate office actually she deals with, so she connects people with real estate in the Bronx is a little cheaper than Brooklyn and Queens and the rest of the place, so it is what it is. And please listen to her on triple w https // WHCR.org/news/ and you could check her bio, her brief bio, and even what she does on that. Thank you, thank you, thank you. It's now 1 minute after the hour. In New York, it's 1 minute after 10. And just want to again share some love about the next coming events coming up, of course. Remember, for more info about Saturday, July the 18th, the world premiere of Hoppy, the documentary on economic developments through our culture. July the 18th, 7 p.m. is the starting time, Eastern Standard Time. Go to www.hoppyfilms.com. Get your front row seat on any and all devices. And remember, after the premiere, you can actually get a DVD. You can get yourself a DVD or a digital download, especially from the Hoppy family. Also coming up, just want to remind everybody once again, this coming Wednesday, we have Dr. Phil Valentine on July 15th at 9 p.m. On Friday, July 17th, Professor James Smalls at 9 p.m. On Sunday, July the 19th, Professor Zahalia Anderson, Women in Martial Arts at 9 p.m. Wednesday, July the 22nd, Sister Malika Ali, Building Your Immunity at 7 p.m. And then we got some more stuff coming up. I just ain't gonna say no more words. I'm gonna say some more words, but we got more things coming up. Just want to let people know how we rocking and how we doing. And once again, please order my new book, Numerovation for Mental Stability. That's Numerovation for Mental Stability. The price is only $40.40, and that includes shipping and handling anywhere in the world. Even if I have to pay the extra, if it goes past $40.40, I'm still gonna pay the extra. But usually it's around that price. You know what I'm saying? Everything that I have to do, especially during this time, and the lines are crazy and all that kind of stuff at certain posts. Although it's opening up, it's still 6 feet away. Everybody's still 6 feet away. But if you can pay via paypal.me/the Numerovator, please include your full name and mailing address in the PayPal note section. So when I do send it out in the first part of September, going into October, you will get it and you'll get a signed copy. I think I'm going to only receive 100, so the first 100 people will get it signed. After that, we just going to send it out and keep it moving because I got a lot of other books to put out. I got some children's books to put out and all that kind of stuff. Also, just want to remind people of Baba Phil Valentine. He'll be here on July 15th, but don't forget July the 19th. Paradigm Shift 2030, Rise of the Metaphysic Messiah and the Death Throes of the Satanic States. Yes, so for more information about Dr. Phil Valentine's next webinar on Sunday, July the 19th, please, please, please log on to www.uksnow.org. That's uksnow.org. Make sure you log on to that. uksnow.org and find the link, uksnow.org. I say it again, uksnow.org. That is his website for consultation, for products, for his book, for his wife's book, everything. You can get consultation from both of them. You can get relationship consultation. Also, you can get exemption consultation, all of that. Also, just want to remind people, those that need a natural gynecologist, that don't want to deal with the chemicals and all the other craziness, guess what? This sister has a very good website with a lot of good products for you beautiful women, pedalwise.com. That's www.pedalwise.com. And save now. You can save 10% with my coupon code. That's right. My coupon code is King 2020. That's King 2020. KING 2020 at pedalwise.com. And remember, when you place your orders, please take a picture, take a snapshot of the product, tag her at Pedalwise on Instagram. Also hashtag the name Pedalwise on Instagram, and give her, you can do a consultation with sister. So big up to Dr. Makiba and the whole team, Tito and Chewy and the whole crew over there. Big up. Chewy is the dog, but he's part of the team anyway. I gotta big up Chewy. Chewy is such a nice animal. He hangs out with me when I'm out there. So big up to my boy Chewy. Got a good little Gemini dog. It's a good little Gemini dog. Also, here's another a beautiful business that we have here. We have real estate. If you want to deal with real estate, if you want to buy a condo, if you want to buy your own house throughout New York City or the tri-state area or different parts of New York, like I said, the Bronx is a little less than the rest of the part. You can consult with this beautiful sister, Janelle Lewis, at 347 866 1153. That's 347 866 1153. Just tell her King Simon sent you. She'll hook you up. That's 347 866 1153. She's also on WhatsApp. Also, just in case you're looking to buy something in here and you're coming from out of state or whatever, you can hit her up on WhatsApp also and show that love. If you want to do a Numerovation session with me, please, that's 347-496-1022. Text your full name and date of birth to 347-496-1022. Applied mathematics. That's what numerology is. Applied mathematics from an esoteric perspective. Learn how to apply your numbers and they will work for you. And also, remember, my books are on sale. This is an introduction to Numbers Are Simple, People Are Complicated. It's really basically an introduction, but I give you recommended reading in the back from my perspective on what I was gathering up until I created Numerovation. And that's what this book is all about. This gives you an inkling about what I was starting to do and taking it from all angles of numerology and using it to benefit us and learning how to turn it into a more motivating factor to another level because of my history in motivational speaking and working with people like Les Brown and watching and studying other people over the years. So make sure you get that book if you can. That one is called that is called Numbers Are Simple, People Are Complicated. This one is called Numbers Are Simple, Our Children's Health is Important. Why? A lot of us recognize medical astrology and all of that. And that's good because it's written in Dr. Africa's books and various other books about medical astrology. But numerology also offers a bird's eye view on how to look at numbers and the patterns and sequences of numbers that show up in your chart, your numero chart, that may suggest that you could attract certain ailments. Like number one can attract a lot of eye problems, especially if you have a certain amount of number ones, or heart problems or circulation problems. Number two attracts stomach problems, digestive system problems, attract those type of bowel movement problems. All of that. Number twos attract that. Also, number three attracts a lot of nervous issues, especially nerve endings dealing with the foot and the hands and different parts of the body. But also, you got to take time to rest for yourself. So it goes on, and we go into it from 1 to 31, all the calendar dates. We go into it from in this book. So make sure you get this book when you get a chance. It's on Amazon and Kindle, just like the other books. And this is my other book, my first book that I ever wrote. This one is called No Promotion is Bad Promotion, and All Publicity is Good Publicity. Just spell my name right. And this is about promoting your business on multiple levels, on multiple platforms, in multiple ways, and in multiple functions. This is one of the books to get. I also have the last chapter because this is a revised version. I added my sponsorship and what's good about sponsorship and getting to have sponsors sponsor your shows or sponsor your things. Like I have different sponsors coming on with me, and those who want to sponsor or pay for sponsorship on my show, they're more than welcome. If you're watching it, please, you're always more than welcome. My people do support, they do call, they do check on to see if your product is well and if the product is doing good. And a lot of people do tell me that they get calls and all that. And you know, my channel is not as big as certain people like Rich or Sonetta, but I do have a good organic following that is growing very well over the years. So that's good. And you know, and I've really kicked in and I'm doing what I got to do to make it happen. Also, this was a disclaimer. There was a disclaimer, content disclaimer. I always got to do that now because I see what's going on. And once you can see, that's when you hear. So you don't have to feel. But I'm feeling also. So the views and comments and opinions expressed by guests, speakers, or authors on this YouTube channel do not necessarily reflect or represent the views and opinions held by this channel's broadcasters and its sponsored. Parental guidance is advised. Okay. And last but not least, family, I was saying earlier about the different titles the different book covers that I need you to email me and tell me which one you like. This is the first one. This is the first one. Of course, I'm going to jazz it up a bit. That's just one of the pictures I was thinking about. This is the second one. Of course, I'm going to jazz it up a bit. This is just a picture, one of the free pictures I found online that I'm going to use. And this is the third one for the new book, Numerovation for Mental Stability. So I need, like I said, I need my audience to choose the cover for my new book called Numerovation for Mental Stability. So please email me your choice, either one, two, this is three, this is two, and this is one. So email me your choice and I'll see by the amount of choices. If you email me at numerovation with King Simon at Gmail, then I will, by the numbers of the people that have responded, that's when I will make my decision and move forward with the book. This is one, this is two, and this is three. That is the book covers. These are the choices of the book covers that I'm going to use for Numerovation for Mental Stability. I got to send it to my graphics. And then, of course, graphics and my editor is Joshua Sarah. You know, you've seen him on my show before. So it's all respect, all love. And I'm showing my brother all the love we can. All right. Yes. All right, family, getting ready to get on out of here right now. So I'm going to take a step to the rear and get the heck on out of here, like Frankie Crocker used to say. But before we do that, I want to say this prayer, Dr. Delbert Blair's prayer here. And I'm going to close out with this type of stuff for the rest of the month because Dr. Delbert Blair meant the world. I was one of the last people to bring him into New York. So this is the prayer that we're going to close out with, family. And the prayer says, please, universal creator, know in my heart that I love you. Please protect me and this planet on which I live now. Please open my mind, my spirit, and my soul to receive only truth and your love now. This is a prayer that Dr. Blair wanted everybody in his Metta Center to say every Tuesday at a certain particular time so it can resonate around the universe. So that's a powerful prayer that Dr. Blair gave and left to us. I remember him giving this to me, and I made photocopies of it for the lecture. And it was a very good, and he used to say it after every lecture most of the time. He used to say that prayer at the end of every lecture. And I'm going to say it one more time. Please, universal creator, know in my heart that I love you. Please protect me and this planet on which I live now. Please open my mind, my spirit, my soul to receive only truth and your love now. Thank you, Dr. Blair, for sharing that great wisdom, those great understandings, those great things that you did back in the day. We love you. We respect you. We love and respect all of the ancestors. And we want to thank each and every one of you that came on and joined us today. And I want to send salute to all of you and want to thank, of course, Sister Keziah Glow for coming on. And don't forget, Phil Valentine is this Wednesday. So you know I got a disclaimer for him because I know anytime he coming with some fire. And I got to make sure that's my brother. All right, like Marcus Mosiah Garvey always says, up, you mighty nation, you could accomplish what you will. One love, one aim, and one destiny. And remember, family, we are family. I got all my brothers and sisters with me. That's what it is. Stay focused, stay out of trouble, stay at peace. I'm out of here. I'm going to leave you with a song called Black and White Story, which I wrote back in 1989. So this is the song Black and White and Story. See y'all later. Peace.
Me, I will tell you a little something about white history. Say how they condemn us throughout slavery. They say we were black and very ugly. I lie them a telling of them history. Cause black is beautiful, the whole of them agree. They come out of the mountains and mix up with sea. We don't have a praise in the black and white history. Yeah, it's black, 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 it's white, white, but let me tell the story. Yes, it's black, black, it's white, white, but let me tell the story. May I will tell you a little truth about the dark histories for the people who can hear and those who can see. When the first to come up with anatomy, to analyze the truth about the way body. When the first to come up with biology, to analyze the lives in the society. When the first to come up with Egyptology, to construct the pyramid that you see. When the first to come up with psychology, to analyze the mind and the personality. When the first to come up with musicology, to put the rhythm of your soul and every rock steady. Correction, my friends, with the black and white history. Yeah, it's black, 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 it's white, white, but let me tell the story. Yes, it's black, 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 it's white, white, but let me tell the story. Black and